Hello world, I'm Stefon Walters, and I'm here to talk about something that a lot of people can relate to. Student loans. Now, to be fair, nobody other than your lender actually likes student loans, but for a lot of people, they're a necessary evil, especially when you consider the lifetime earning potential difference between someone with a college degree and someone without one. Regardless of how you actually feel about student loans, one thing's for sure and two things for certain. When it's time to pay back the money you owe, your lender probably couldn't care less about how you feel about it. All they care about is getting their money back. And that's why we're here today, to talk about 3 key tips that you can do to make paying back student loans much easier for you. So follow along with me. Finesse tip number 1, always take advantage of employer resources. That's why it's there. Take Altria's student loan repayment assistance program, for example. Altria offers up to $100 a month, up to $10,000 towards your student loan payments. And to get an idea of just how great of a benefit this is, let's take a look at a real world example. Suppose you have $30,000 in student loans with a 2.75% interest rate. If you pay your loans off in 10 years, your monthly payment will be $286 and you will have paid $34,348 by the end of your loan. Now, if you take Altria's $100 monthly benefit and add it to your payments, you'll not only save more than $1,000 in interest, but you'll pay your loans off in 8 years instead of 10. Finesse tip number 2, consider an income-driven plan. When you first start paying back your student loans, you'll be automatically enrolled in the standard plan. What this does is take the amount you owe in student loans, divide it by 10 years, and that's the amount that you pay monthly. The problem is, however, is that for most people, this just might not be a feasible amount. So what an income-driven plan does is make sure that you never pay more than 10% of your discretionary income. And if you're wondering what discretionary income is, no worries. I promise you're not the only one. See, discretionary income is the money you have left over after paying for things like taxes and utilities, rent, insurance, and groceries. You know, the necessities. And believe it or not, those streaming services, they're not necessities. Who would have thought? So for example, if you have $1,500 left in discretionary income after paying all your necessities, your student loan bill will be no more than $150 a month, which is a bit, cheaper than that $286 that we discussed in the first example. Finesse tip number 3, avoid converting your federal student loans into private loans. It usually gets to a point where a lot of people consider converting their federal student loans to private loans, mostly because they want to refinance and hopefully get a better rate and save money in the long term. The problem, however, is that when you convert your federal loans to private loans, you negate a lot of the great benefits that comes along with federal student loans. Of these benefits, here are 3 main ones that you lose when you do this. Number 1, the ability to get your loans forgiven. Number 2, the ability to pause or lower your payments if you're going through a hardship or rough times. And number 3, what we discussed in finesse tip number 2, the ability to get on an income-based repayment plan. Those benefits alone are worth keeping your federal loans federal. If you follow these 3 finesse tips, you'll be in much better position to handle your student loans. But you don't have to take my word for it. Put it in action and see the results.